Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're an international student looking to study in Canada, I've got some big news for you. Canada's Immigration Ministry just released a list of college programs eligible for post-graduation work permits, or what we call the PGWP. These changes could have a huge impact on your ability to stay and work in Canada after graduation. So if you are currently enrolled in a program, thinking of applying, or already on your way to Canada, stick around because this information is going to be game changing. So in today's video, I'll be breaking down everything you need to know about these recent changes. We'll be going over what the new rules are and who they apply to, which college programs are eligible for PGWP under the new regulation, the impact this has on your future career and work options in Canada, and most importantly, how you can navigate these changes with some practical advice to make sure your education and career goals stay on track. By the end of this video, you will have all the information you need to make the right decisions about your studies in Canada. So let's jump right into it. Number one, let's look at the key update. That's the new rules for the PGWP eligibility. Alright, so here is the big update from the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. That's the IRCC. Starting November 1st, 2024. Any new international student applying to study at Canadian college will only be eligible for post-graduation work permit if they graduate from a program on the new approved list of eligible fields. So the key date here is November 1st, 2024. These new rules will start being applied. This is a significant shift because previously graduates from most college programs could apply for PGWP, but now only students who complete specific courses will be eligible to stay and work in Canada. So who exactly is affected by this change? Let me break it down for you. One, if you already have a study permit or have applied for one before November 1st, 2024, you are in the clear. You can still get a PGWP under the old rules. So you need to understand this properly. If you already have a study permit or you have already applied for one, that means you've put in your application before November 1st, then you are in the clear. In that case, the old rules will be applied to you. So all those of you who already have a study permit and are now coming in, and those who have already submitted the application, if it's approved, you are in the clear because the old rules is going to be applied to you. But if you are applying for a study permit on or after November 1st, that's 2024, you need to be extra careful. Your eligibility for a PGWP will depend on the program you choose, and it has to be on the list of approved fields of study. So what this means is that right after November 1st, anybody submitting a new application, the new rules will be applied to you. So you need to make sure that if you want to stay in Canada and work post-graduation, then whichever course you are selecting is at least on the list of approved fields. And remember, this change mainly affects college graduates. So if you are planning on studying at a Canadian university, the PGWP rules will remain the same, because you can see from this that these new rules that they are coming up with mainly affects people who plan on studying in colleges. So if you are going to study in a university, you know you are in the clear because the old rules will apply to you. But if you are thinking of going to a college, then you need to know that the new rules will apply to you post November 1st. Now let's talk about which programs actually qualify for PGWP under the new rules. According to IRCC, there are 5 key areas that are now eligible for post-graduation work permits. These include agriculture and agri-food, healthcare, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as the STEM fields, skills trade, then we have transportation. So if your dream is to study in one of these areas, you are good to go. But if you were thinking about programs in business, hospitality, or tourism, unfortunately they are no longer eligible for PGWP. And that is a big deal because a lot of international students come to Canada specifically for these types of programs. So why is the Canadian government making this change? Well, IRCC says the new list is based on areas of long-term labor shortage in the Canadian economy. Basically, they want to make sure international students are studying in fields where there is high demand for workers in the future. However, there has been some pushback from the education sector. Colleges, especially in the provinces like Ontario, have expressed concern that this change could negatively impact both students and local labor market. They argue that it may ignore regional needs and limit opportunities for students who choose other fields of study. For instance, think about the rural areas that rely on tourism or hospitality. These industries may struggle if international students can't stay and work after graduation in those fields. But for now, the government is focusing on aligning the PGWP with the national labor market needs. Okay, so you might be wondering, how does this affect you personally if you are planning to study in Canada? First, if you're already studying, you don't need to worry. You are still eligible for a PGWP. But if you are applying for a program after November 1st, 2024, make sure to check if it's on the approved list. Here's an example. Let's say you are coming to Canada to study computer science, which falls under the STEM category. Great news, you will be eligible for a PGWP and potentially work in Canada for up to 3 years after graduation. That's depending on how long your program is, because most times if you do a 2-year program, you get a 3-year postgraduate work permit. But what if you are planning to study hotel management? Under the new rules, you won't be eligible for a PGWP. So you might want to reconsider your options and pick a program that leads to work permit eligibility, or be prepared to return to your home country after your studies. Now here's my practical advice for students thinking about their next steps. First, I would say research the programs thoroughly. If you are already in Canada or planning to come, ensure that the field of study aligns with the approved list. So make sure you are doing your research. Don't sit there depending on an agent to do all the work for you, only to get here and find out that the program that they chose for you is not on the list. So all your plans falls into waters. Make sure you are doing your research to make sure that if your goal is to come and study and work in Canada post graduation, then whatever course that you are selecting is at least on the approved list, and that you will qualify for PGWP post graduation. Secondly, think long term about your career goals. Do you want to stay and work in Canada after you graduate? If so, then you will need to pick a program that qualifies for a PGWP. So always make sure you are thinking long term. Don't just say that I want to enter the country and find my way around, because things are changing now. Most of the schools are asking you to make a financial commitment for whichever course that you choose. So if your goal is just to enter and make a decision, then you know that you're going to now waste some money just to find yourself where you want to be. So make sure you are thinking long term and do your necessary research so that whichever program that you are picking is in line with your long-term goals of coming to Canada. Lastly, I would say be flexible. The educational landscape is changing, and it may be a good time to explore new fields that you haven't considered before. STEM fields, for example, offer a lot of opportunities and are in high demand in Canada. So maybe your background might be in tourism, hospitality, but if your long-term goal is to be in Canada, study and work, possibly it might be time to maybe reignite those childhood dreams of maybe doing some STEM. And there are STEM programs that might be aligned with your field. If you work in hospitality, there might be STEM programs that might be aligned with hospitality. If yours has to do with tourism, there might be STEM programs that are aligned with tourism. So you can find a balance between what you love and what your long-term goal will be, so that you can find opportunities that work at least are in demand in Canada. Also remember, Canada is still a fantastic place for international students, but it is important to adapt to these new rules to achieve your long-term goals. So there you have it, the latest updates on Canada's postgraduate work permit program. It's a major change, but with the right information and careful planning, you can still succeed in your study and career in Canada. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more updates. And hey, if you have more questions about this or any other topic, I offer a one-on-one sessions where you can ask me questions directly. Disclaimer here, I'm not an immigration consultant or immigration lawyer, but at least from my experience and experience of other people that I know, I can help you, guide you in your decision making. Just check the link in the description area to book a one-on-one consultation so that we can talk and maybe guide you onto the right path. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.